Do you right there, yeah, I'm talking to you, sitting there watching me right now, do you know what this means? Do you guys know what flipping your lid means? Or maybe losing your lid? Sometimes we say flipping your lid, sometimes we say losing your lid, but they mean the same thing. But do you lose your lid? Well, I have a story for you all, and while I'm telling you this story, try to guess what it means. If you want to guess in the comments, go for it. If you want to guess in your mind, go for it. If you want to try to figure it out on a piece of paper, go for it. But I'm going to tell my story about a time where I flipped my lid or I lost my lid, but I really want to see if you guys know what it means, if you can figure out what it means. I'm pretty sure you can once you hear my story. This was actually quite recently. I think it was about 1.5 years ago. I'm just going to preface this by saying I am not proud of the way I acted. I am not proud of the things that I said, the things that I did. First of all, there's this thing here in America called being a Karen. And when you say somebody is a Karen, it just means that they're a type of person that likes to complain, a type of person that likes to go to your manager, go speak to your manager. They like to go around you to somebody higher in power and complain, or they like to get in other people's businesses a lot. I'm not a Karen. Actually, I'm far from it. I am not really confrontational unless I have to be. So that's the difference. I know some people that are like super, they don't talk to anybody. They can be stepped upon. They don't care. They are just going to take it. And then there's some people that are super confrontational and they will literally try to pick fights. And then there's me, who I know when to be confrontational and when not to be confrontational. But for the most part, I choose not to be. But this day, about 1.5 years ago, I just had enough. I had enough. To get back to my story, we had moved and I enrolled my son in a new school. And for the first time ever in his life, he was going to take the bus. And he was excited and I was nervous. He was like in 3rd grade at this time, and I got him a cell phone because I was like, you were going to FaceTime me. You were going to share your location with me. Like, I will be tracking you the whole time. I will be there when you get off the bus. I will be there when you get on the bus. You know, I was like helicopter mom mode activated.
Helicopter, helicopter.
Hey. Ooh, hi. Just in case, huh?
But I was just nervous for him to like be on the bus, but he was very excited. It's very convenient. They have bus services and bus routes for a reason, to get the kids to school and to be more convenient for the parents. So I took advantage of that. I let him ride the bus for 2 whole months. Okay, not 2 days, not 2 weeks, 2 whole months. Every day, my son's bus driver would argue with me or with my son about his mom not being there to pick him up. I told him multiple times, and there was no language barrier. This dude's American, I'm American, even down to like, this dude's white, I'm white. This dude's definitely, his first language is English. My first language is English. We can communicate. This bus driver and I, we can communicate just fine. But every day he would pick on my son. He would make my son wait. My son sits in the front of the bus, but he would be like, oh no, you can't get off yet because your mom's not here. And my son will be pointing at me and saying, my mom's right there. She's right there. And he's like, that's not your mom. That's not your mom. You need to tell your mom to come get you. My son would be like, no, that's my mom. I promise that's my mom. So then I would sometimes walk up to the bus driver, make sure everything's okay. I'm like, hey, I'm here to, pick him up. And then the bus driver would let him off. The first couple weeks, he didn't say much. And actually the first couple weeks, it was sometimes me and sometimes my husband picking him up from the bus. My husband never had a problem to pick him up from the bus stop, but for some reason I did. Every time it was me picking him up from the bus driver would argue with my son that I wasn't his mom. And my son would be like, that is my mom. That is my mom. Please let me go. And he would always hold my son back to be the very last one off the bus, where as my son loved to be the first one off the bus, he sat in the front so that he could be the first one off. The bus driver would just pick on him. So one day my son gets off the bus and he's almost crying. And I was like, what's the matter? And he said, the bus driver just yelled at me saying that this is the last day he's going to allow me to get off the bus without my mom being here to pick him up. This is 2 months, all right? It's been 2 months into the school year. And I'm like, okay, I've had enough. I am your mother. And I've told him, and I told the bus driver before, politely, like 2 or 3 times, I'm here to pick up my son. I'm getting my son. This is my son. But I guess it never registered in his brain. I don't know. And I even introduced myself on the first day, like, hey, I'm
not going to say my son's name,
but I'm Mom. And the bus driver was like, oh, okay, yeah, nice to meet you. So 2 months go by. That happens. My son's almost in tears because he's being picked on. He's kind of being bullied in a sense. And the bus driver the next day pulls up and I'm there and I'm ready. I am livid. I told myself that I'm not going to be a Karen. I even told you guys that I don't like being a Karen. I don't like being confrontational. But today I had to put on my Karen wig because I was the biggest Karen and I was so confrontational. I ran up to that bus driver and I was like, excuse me, I heard there's a problem. You have a problem with me picking up my son? And he was like, he needs his mom or his dad to be here to pick him up. And I was like, I am his mom. And he's like, no, he needs his actual mother here to pick him up. I said, what do you mean actual mother? I am his actual mother. I literally gave birth to this child. I have the scar to show you I gave birth to this child. I don't know what else you need. I have his birth certificate, with my name on it. I have scars. I have pictures. I have proof. Like, what are you talking about? And you know what? It all came down to racism because my son is mixed. My son is half Korean. Although he is half Korean and half white, obviously he's half me, he is very Korean passing. Like, he's very Asian looking. His Asian features are dominant. Now, as he's getting older, he's like growing into looking more mixed, but his whole life he's always looked pretty Korean. Like, his Korean features have been very strong, very dominant. But I'm telling you guys, I flipped my lid. I lost it. I lost my lid. I flipped it. I did whatever. My lid was doing tricks. I was so upset, so angry. And I was yelling at this guy. And the bus driver said, how is that possible? Oh, you guys don't even know. I'm a very nice person. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I like to believe that I'm a nice person, but all in all, I feel like I'm very understanding. I'm very calm. I'm very nice. But one thing I cannot stand is racism, and I cannot stand people being so ignorant. I don't like ignorance and I don't like racism. And it was like two combined at once. And I told this man, this bus driver, I was like, basically, are you dumb?
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh?
But I said it like a different way. I was like, are you familiar with interracial marriages? I was like, there's such thing as interracial marriages, and you have two people from two different races. They get together, they make biracial children. That's exactly what happened in my case. Not that any of it matters to you, because I don't have to ask your permission for you to give me my child off the bus. That is my child biologically. It doesn't matter. Like, you need to be more aware that things like this happen all the time. And I'm like, so my brother and my sister-in-law, they adopted an embryo, and my niece, although my sister-in-law gave birth to her, my sister-in-law was pregnant with her, she gave birth to her, my niece looks totally different because they adopted through IVF an embryo that was implanted into my sister-in-law. So my niece is super pale skin, like reddish hair and green eyes. My sister-in-law is Peruvian. And then my brother, I mean, he's tall, he has like dirty blonde brown hair and blue eyes. He doesn't look like me. They definitely don't look alike. And I'm like, what if you were speaking this way to a mother who adopted children, screaming at the mom that she's not her biological parent or his biological parent? You can't be so ignorant. In this day and age, in 2024, well, this time it was like 2022 still, but still, you can't be that ignorant. There's people that adopt, there's people that do IVF, like my brother and my sister-in-law. There's multicultural families, interracial households, biracial children. I can't believe I'm getting angry. It's been almost 2 years and I'm getting angry about this again. But honestly, I lost my lid. I flipped my lid. I have never been so angry. You know how there's an expression, okay? There's a 2 for today. There's another expression for you, a bonus one. And we say here in America, when you're so angry, you say, I saw red, or, past tense, or I'm seeing red. I have never understood that expression because I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I saw red. What does that even mean? But I was so angry that day when I called his boss and I complained too, and he had to apologize to me, but we're past that. But I was so angry that day that I saw red. Like, I was furious. My eyes,
everything was red. I was so angry.
Because how dare he tell me that child is not my child? That is the child I created. He came out of my body. He is biologically mine. And even if he were not, even if I adopted him, even if he was like my husband's child and I'm now his stepmother, it would not matter because I am still his mom. I'm still his maternal figure. figure. And it was no business to that bus driver. And I know the bus driver, his excuse was he's just trying to keep the kids safe. I understand that to a certain extent, but it became way too much borderline racism where it dragged out for too long. Also, because every day I told you guys, my husband would pick up my son, no problem. My husband is my son's stepfather. My husband is half Vietnamese American. My son is half Korean. But because the bus driver saw, oh, Asian dad, okay, the Asian kid goes with him. That's all he needed. You know, so there's like another form of racism, and it really just made me so upset, and I lost my lid. So now I'm pretty sure you guys know what the idiom of today means. Lost your lid, or lose your lid, or flip my lid, flip your lid. This idiom just means to become extremely upset over something and to lose control over yourself. All right, you become extremely upset over something and you lose control of yourself. All right, so that's just what lose your lid, or lose my lid in this case, or flip your lid means. You can say it either way, lose your lid or flip your lid. I'm pretty sure by halfway through the story, you guys already had like an idea of what it meant, but now you know the actual definition, and hopefully you guys can use it in the future. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'm going to give you guys 3 example sentences so that you guys can just remember it a little bit better. So you have my story, and that's like a really good example. So 3 examples. Examples number 1, and don't mind me, I wrote down the examples, so I will be looking down, but I'm here with you in spirit. Example number 1, when the team lost the championship game, the coach completely lost his lid and yelled at the players. All right. When the team lost the championship game, the coach completely lost his lid and yelled at the players. All right. So lost his lid. All right. Example number 2. After discovering the project deadline had been missed, the manager lost her lid during the meeting. All right. After discovering the project deadline had been missed, the manager lost her lid during the meeting. And the final example for today, example number 3, is if you mention his ex-girlfriend, he tends to lose his lid and get really upset. All right? If you mention his ex-girlfriend, he tends to lose his lid and get really upset. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different style, but I really like this style, and I think I'm going to do more videos like this in the future. Let me know the feedback if you guys liked it or not, and I hope you have a better understanding, as always, of the idiom you learned today, lose your lid, or sometimes flip your lid. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.